Hey, Timid Falcon Knight coming back at you with another round of Egg Cup. Um, so this one is going to be round two from the first up into Fall game, which I played against Ninja Robin's 183, and this one ended up taking a lot less time than the last one, so that's why I'm gonna be uploading twice in 1 week for once. But anyways, so the rules for this round were, well, let's take a look at um, low tier. Yeah, let's just go mid tier then. So this is the normal Global League rule set for this, and as you can see, um, Luxios are banned. And anything above tier 3 is banned, and just Black Bombs are banned. So the rules for Egg Cup is a little bit different. As you can see here, Rain is always going to be on. Stuffs are actually banned. Not that it matters. And then Olaf is allowed. Drake is not, and the Luxios are also allowed. Honestly, I don't even know why Drake is banned. Because he still loses the vision. Well, I guess he'd have a good move on his vehicles. But honestly, well, it would be pretty good. It would be pretty good. But I don't think it's like game breaking or anything because he still has the vision loss. So even if he can move everywhere, which is going to be important actually, the rain ends up slowing down your vehicles quite a bit. But yeah, so Olaf's allowed. Usually Olaf is really good, but rain affects him the same as snow would for others. Now, what that means is we go to the terrain chart here. So as you can see here, we have rain and snow. What rain does, as opposed to normal settings, is it really doesn't slow down your infantry at all. That's these first two columns. As you can see, they're the same. But it does slow down your tread units, but that's your tanks and your artillery, and your wheel units, that's your recons and, I guess, rockets and missiles, but mainly your recons. But it slows them down significantly, so an extra point of move for both of those units, for basically all of your land vehicles, when you're moving in either plains or forests. Everywhere else is actually the exact same. So, properties in roads you can move the same as normal on. Where this gets into a bit of trouble for Olaf in particular, actually, is right here. You can see the infantry move is just reduced significantly. Mechs actually take their full move to move onto mountains and snow. Infantry are just completely slowed down. They can't even move onto mountains when it's snowing. So, and that's in addition to the same. Well, actually, it's not the same. Because forests actually, it's easy. It doesn't really matter for your vehicles, land vehicles, but your area units are completely slowed down as well, which is another reason why you just shouldn't pick Olaf in snow. And then I guess your naval units are slowed down as well. Not that it'll matter for this map. Like there are technically two ports on this map, but like they're not surrounded by water. But as you can see here, it's a map like this is the map, and it's raining, which means that actually, if you take a look at what units you might want to be using, area units actually end up being on top. Because not only do you have two airports, which means you can spam them out a lot easier than you might normally, but they also aren't slowed down at all by rain. So that's this map with rain on turns into a little bit of battlecopter spam. And then the other thing about this map is with it raining is that you sort of it takes so fucking long to get your vehicles into position. Like even moving from this forward base here, it takes like tanks can only get to like here. It's kind of insane. So your land vehicles are going to be super hard to maneuver into the center, while your battlecopters will be able to just flit in and out. Once they do get to the center here, these rows make it a lot easier for your land units to move around though. So if you get like an anti-air in here, it can wreak havoc if your opponent isn't careful about where they're placing their battlecopters. Do I put it like? No, I won't put it like that. Anyways, so let's go into CO decisions for this one. Olaf is obviously out because it's even if it were just his infantry that were slowed down on planes, like that neuters his capture game so freaking much, because look at all the floors, look at all the planes in the center. His infantry wouldn't be able to do anything, so Olaf is obviously out. And then that just leaves tier 3 and tier 4 COs. Of these, I picked Sonja because Sonja's my girl. And I always pick her in tier 3 flag anyways. But in rain, if you don't know, what rain does is it actually makes it so that your vision is completely neutered. It lowers your vision by 1. So that means that Sonja is the only seal who actually has normal vision in fog when it's raining. Because it's always raining, that means that Sonja is going to actually have so much more vision than anyone else in this map. And, like, honestly, like, Sonja's... Rain is kind of Sonja's preferred weather. I'm not gonna lie, she's, like, so freaking broken in it. As you will see later. Keep in mind, I guess, that my opponent was playing Lash. Now, Lash is interesting because it's an interesting pick. She's only good when she pops her power in this map. Well, I say that, but her firepower is actually also really, really good. She can do a lot of damage from these forests or from these mountains. There are like a couple mountains that are next to properties which she can attack from and get an insane firepower bonus with her infantry from that. And then she has the normal firepower bonus on planes as well. Excuse me. But so that's very good. The only issue is she can't, like everyone except Sonja, she can't see anything. So I believe that's it. Any other things? I don't know. Kindle's probably pretty good, just because she's freaking Kindle. Although it is going to be a bit of a rushdown, because ironically, Sonja is sort of a rushdown character, even though she has bad luck, so she doesn't really have the firepower for that necessarily. But yeah, I say Sonja is definitely the best pick here. If I were going to pick someone else, it would probably be Lash, honestly. Just because she has that really good day-to-day firepower. And then she can pop her superpower, and even her little power, I guess, for the extra maneuverability on her land vehicles. And then also, I guess Kindle's pretty good because her battlecopters will be able to get her city bonus. Because that's the one drawback that Lash has, is her battlecopters are just going to be normal. We're not going to get any extra abilities. I think that's basically it. Everyone else, I wouldn't play, I don't think. Maybe Kindle, Flash. Flash is like a distant second with Sonja for first. Andy could be interesting, but I don't think that he really has the firepower for it. And yeah, no one else is really going to be good enough. So, well, in this very specific matchup type thing. So let's go ahead and start with a replay. So Obviously going for the center base here first. And then just moving forward with these infantry as well. Main reason I'm doing it this way is so that I can get up closer to these properties first. And I can always just come back for these properties later with my like second round of infantry. And my opponent's doing the same thing actually, so. Great minds think alike, I guess. Yeah, obviously going for the airport as soon as possible. I don't think it's gonna matter. It might matter. Forget how early I get my first battlecopter out, but getting these airports up pretty early is going to be pretty important just so that I can spam battlecopters a little bit more easily. Because battlecopters are pretty good. They have Sonja's battlecopters on this map have 3 visions still, so they can still see a lot. And yeah, already it looks like I'm significantly ahead in capture game already. So yeah, and that's a good portion of why I'm able to do that is because I just have that extra point of vision on my infantry, so it's a lot easier for me to push forward. When it's going recon on this side, I think this is a okay move because you can send your recon over here to interrupt these caps pretty early on. And the thing about recons is they're really bad against tanks, but if you look at the damage chart actually, where's recon? It's 55. So battlecopters actually don't do crazy well against recons the same way that tanks do. It's 85 from tanks. So in a battlecopter centric game like this, recons are a lot more effective just because they will last a lot longer. Alright, so I'm moving in to scout with my battlecopter, and I'm kind of relying on the fact that she doesn't have much vision on her infantry. Like, if you had an infantry in this mountain, it would only be able to see to here as well. So that's the other thing about this map is about right is that it cuts your freaking infantry vision as well. Like, it's so bad. 1 vision infantry is just so bad. 4 vision from a mountain is so freaking bad. So I move in here. I got my second battlecopter to back up my first one already because that's another thing that's super important to do is to chain your battlecopters together because basically the only reason why this matters is in the battlecopter versus battlecopter matchup because battlecopter first strikes are so freaking powerful that you need to have backup in case you get ambushed by a battlecopter. Like, it basically neuters you if that happens. Like, tanks is sort of the same thing, but if you're like on defensive terrain, like a city or something, it becomes more of an even trade. So it's a lot safer to take random encounters from tanks because they have the defensive bonuses. But battlecopters, not only do they have, they not get the defensive bonuses, but I believe that the, yeah, it's 65 as opposed to 55 for tank versus tank. Where's the tank? There it is, 55. So not only do they take more damage from not having defense, but they also deal more damage to each other. So it's really important to make sure that you have something guarding your other battlecopters. You need to have at least like 2, if you can, to back each other up. Especially in a map like this where there's going to be a bunch of battlecopters spam anyways, and battlecopters can like do basically half the map in 1 turn of move. At least laterally. Not longitudinally, but laterally, up and down. As you can see, he's catching up in the income, but I'm still ahead a little bit, it looks like. Yeah, oh, that is a significant amount, actually. Funny thing over here, he actually can't see my units right now. And And when I saw him, I moved my battlecopter here, and I saw his infantry capping here. I was like, oh, he definitely saw my battlecopter, but he didn't. And that's how awful the one vision infantry is. Like, if he had seen my battlecopter here, like he actually did end up building a preemptive anti-air here. But I don't think he saw my battlecopters. So I built an anti-air over here as well to back up my battlecopters. I'm basically pushing as hard as I can here over here. This is more of your strong side, mainly because you can get to this airport easier. And I think this base might be a bit easier to reinforce to this area from as well. Of course, they're not going to be doing too much pushing into the center directly from this base. Mainly, if you're going to be putting units into the center, it's going to be from these two bases, I guess. So maybe this is more of your strong side. I don't know, but at least from a battlecopters standpoint, I basically treated this as my strong side for the entire match, and then at least for my air units, and then I just sent in backup over here on the roads for them. Getting a recon here. I already have one over here to sort of do what I said earlier, harass infantry if it's around here, and then just attack stuff over here. But now I'm getting a second one so that I can get vision in the center. So I don't really want to waste my infantry moves on moving on into the mountains when I can just move in with a recon anyways, and it'll be just as good. He moves in here, and then this is the experience against fighting Sonja that I like so much. It always throws off your opponent when you're doing stuff like this. And then the other thing that's sort of good is you into you from planes. Like, first of all, it's annoying to do battle calculations against this, but second of all, he can't at all tell whether I'm down to 5 or 6 health, because the damage values are actually basically the same. That's another funny thing. Of course, I'll be able to tell next turn when I cap still. And I believe that actually pushed me down to 5 health. But hypothetically, I could still be at 6. And then I'm just pushing in here with my battlecopter a little bit. I see its first tank here, so I'm going to have battlecopters in the area to back me up. He decided to move his anti-air over here, and I think that's what kind of fucked him up. If he had moved him in here, towards here, to back up his tanks, that would have been a lot more good for him, honestly. And then I make a very aggressive infantry push here as well. Now, here's the thing, it's sort of okay. It sort of ends up going okay. Honestly, I feel like I should have probably been a little bit less aggressive here, but because he's going to be able to mop up my infantry very effectively, and that's just going to ruin my unit count. But actually, he's behind 6 in unit count because I've been being able to spam battlecopters for extra unit count. So it's not going to matter too much, but it is going to hurt. This is going to be a pretty good push from him, as you can see. But I am doing some damage to him, but because the other thing about Lash that sort of counters Sonja is because of her extra firepower, and this goes for anyone with extra firepower. But because Lash gets like extra 20% from forests, extra 40% from mountains and stuff, attack from mountains and stuff like that, she's actually able to do enough damage to Sonja's infantry that Sonja's extra counterattack damage actually doesn't really come into play as much. That did like 5 damage to my recon, by the way. And just look at how much, like, yeah, again, same thing. I'm doing some damage over here, but like, depending on, the rolls aren't necessarily the best. I'm pretty sure he took out that infantry. Oh no, wait, he just did damage straight up. But again, the attack from the mountain basically neutered my infantry anyways. Just not only because of the extra firepower, but because of the extra defense. Like Lash's infantry is so good on mountains. But I am ahead 4k in income at this point anyways, so it's not going to matter too much. I basically take out his recon here. And I join cap here as well as get a couple of shots off, block him from moving into this forest and get the shot off on the tank here as well. It didn't do as much as I would have liked, honestly, but it is in the forest, so like that's just Sonja things. This isn't even a bad Sonja roll. It's just an average Sonja roll. Well, actually, it did 60 damage in my recon, but anyways, details, am I right? So he moves in with the artillery here. Honestly, I don't like the artillery play, especially in this type of thing. Mainly because, like, you can push with it, but it already took him 2 turns just to move here with his artillery. And he is going to be able to push into the center here a little bit. It's just, like, because battlecopters are so good in this map, they're just going to be able to outmaneuver your artillery, be able to, especially in ring. Like, he's not going to be able to. I'm not. If I'm just going to be, I can just stay out of his artillery range if I want to. So yeah, he makes a little bit of a counter push over here. It's a pretty good counter push as well. But at this point I've already captured a good amount of properties, so it's not going to matter. I've already got this capped as well, so he's behind significantly. He's behind 2 properties right now, so well, it's a 2 property swing, but it's 4 properties he's behind. Then this is a really good push as well, because he only had 1 anti-air in the area. This guy's not going to be able to reinforce at all. At least all the way here. And he wouldn't be in normal circumstances either. Moving the recon onto here, actually, so that he can't get the firepower bonus from the city, which will be important. Get the first strike on the battlecopter here, which it does enough to where it doesn't matter what he does next turn anyways. And I actually go for the anti-air move here, which is a bit aggressive because if Lash wants to, she can move her infantry off of this city. And oh wait, this is going to be from the city. And she can actually one-shot it if she gets the roll. If she pops her power, it's a lot better of a roll as well. And a 1 health anti-air isn't going to be able to do much. Like, at all. So, that would be a really good move for her if she wanted to do it. Of course, she'd be basically sacking her tank, but I'd think it would be worth it, for sure. Especially if she moves in with her anti-air accordingly. She pops her terrain tactics here, and I don't know why. Because she gets with power, she's able to take out the battlecopter with that anti-air. But she had this upper anti-air here, anyway, so I don't think it would have mattered. It matters for the recon move a little bit, I think. Because she wouldn't be able to move into this, okay. Yeah, she wouldn't be able to move into this forest otherwise, but like... Oh, I see why. It's because she wanted the artillery shot. So she's able to push in here a little bit. But she could have done that with just, like, one of her infantry anyways. Maybe moving down into here. So I don't know if that was worth it. And that's basically all she gets out of his terrain tactics, I think. Everything else she could have done normally. Maybe not that move. Maybe not that move. But again, like, this isn't really going to be the best move for her, because even though she has the good move this turn, she's not going to have it next turn. So what's this anti-air really going to be able to do next turn? And she's like threatening this area anyways with this upper anti-air. So I obviously immediately pop counter break because I have a full meter and I can't charge anymore when it's full. So may as well go for this. And this wasn't even the best counter break that I could have done. Because I think I could have been a lot more aggressive with it. I just didn't realize it. Because counter break means that I get a first strike if he tries to attack my recon with his mech from before, so that'd be pretty good. It means I could have probably grabbed this property if I wanted it with my infantry, because I would have gotten a first strike on her infantry and would have taken like maybe 1 or 2 damage from each of her attacks. I don't think I saw this guy actually. No, I definitely saw this guy. Like, that's the other good thing about Sonja is like, this is her actual vision now with her counter break. Like, just compare that to what Lash was seeing. Like, she can't see anything. I compare that to Sonja. This is her before counter break. This is her after popping counter break, and it's like so insane. Like, I love Sonja's superpower. I hate her luck, but I love her superpower. And when I move in like this, I'm trying to move my anti-air up here so that I can basically airport block her. And that's actually what I do with my battle cock guy, block her airport. So now she has to worry about that too. I mean, yeah, I'm moving around with my battlecopters. This one is actually going to be in range of his anti-air. Because I mispositioned a bit, but it's not going to matter, I don't think, because he's not going to be able to see it. He goes for the shot into my tank here, and I get the first strike off, but so that's why it's relatively safe to push with tanks and stuff. As Sonja, because because the only counters to her tank are like battlecopters and medium tanks, and I was fairly certain that my opponent didn't have any medium tanks, and I knew I basically routed all his battlecopters in this area anyways, so 6 damage on that mech is so bad as well. I get the impression that maybe he didn't understand how counter break worked. I think his rating wasn't super high, but anyways, that's it for this match. I will say Ninja Robins doesn't have that high of a rating, so I'm not gonna say this was like a turnabout or anything, but like this was a fun map. I was able to just run around and yeet stuff. I feel like I did like a practice match or so with people on Discord before this, and it did really show off how good battlecopters are on this map, how hard it is to move your vehicles around. Honestly, I like in the actual match, it ended up being that I was able to move my vehicles a little bit more effectively than I did in my practice match. So I ended up building more battlecopters than I think I might have normally. But yeah, battlecopters are crazy good in rain, especially if you have 2 airports, because then you can just spam them, and especially if there's a lot of terraining like in the center here. So this is a really funny match. Day 13 as well, which is my favorite number, my favorite lucky number. But yeah, I think my opponent, I think the anti-air spam was actually a good idea. It's just he didn't maneuver them properly. He should have just, like, if you're playing this map, you need to get your vehicles, if you're building them here, you have to basically spend a turn putting them like here, and then you can just put them into this center area here where we can move around more effectively. Or you can like send them down this road or down this road. You can't just have them hang out in this area because they won't be able to do anything. I think the mechs... The mechs could have been a good idea. It's just... They're weak to battlecopters. They can't really do much against battlecopters. So I don't know if it's the best idea. So mechs in the center here is a good idea though. Like if you just ferried mechs from this base across here, it would have been fine. Or even from this base, because we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there to there, just ferry them back and forth from there, because this base, this one you definitely, if you're going to be pushing into the center, you want to build vehicles from this base, not from this base, because it's closer to the center here. And then this base can be on like mech spam duty. But yeah, like look at his vision as well. That's so insane. Like this is my vision without superpower. This is his vision. But and he has a recon here as well. He's got units on the mountains. He's playing relatively effectively for vision wise. It's just rain just completely cooks your vision. So yeah, that was a fun match. Next up is going to be round 3, which is going to be High Funds on Viridia Aqua. Which, that could be fun. It's tier 1 with Nell. So obviously I'm going Hawk. Because Hawk is just so ridiculously good in High Funds. Did I have my CO tier list? Yeah, so High Funds. No Convoy or Sensei though, which I might have considered them actually, because they're both really funny. But having them off of the tier is probably going to make this a lot less cancerous of a map. I think my opponent's relatively high ranked as well, so this should be interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to win this one as easily as I did the last one. But I will do a battle report on it for sure. So stay tuned in for that. It should be coming sometime within the next week, hopefully. But it'll be done whenever I'm done with that. Whenever the match is over. So yeah, that's basically it. Oh, I forgot to switch to my outro music, but oh well. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe. I guess ring the bell, since Egg Cup isn't on really, it's not going to be scheduled upload. It's going to be whenever it gets out. And then yeah, as I said before, road to 1K is, well, it'll be road to 1100, road to 1.1. I don't know what they call it yet, but that's still on hiatus for the time being. So yeah, I will see you guys whenever I'm done with this next match. Bye bye for now.